Welcome to the Mommy Helper Show. On today's show, Karuna Chani is an internationally recognized and accomplished makeup artist, image, and skincare consultant. She stops by today to tell us what we must have in our arsenal of products to keep our face looking fresh and young all year round. Oh, and she even reveals a secret product that she personally uses to keep the dark circles and wrinkles away from under the eyes. Next, special education teacher Lori Lombardi tells us how to identify attention deficit disorder in our children and even in ourselves. She gives practical advice on how to handle symptoms of ADD and tips on how to stay calm as a parent of an ADD child. And lastly, have you heard of Lady Drinks? A women's-only networking initiative which promotes building your business with a business card in one hand and a cocktail in the other. We talked to co-founder Joya Dass about this fun way to increase visibility for your business. So sit back, relax, because the next 30 minutes is all about you on the Mommy Helper Show. Perhaps you suffer from debilitating dry skin during the winter months, or you've just got a massive dark patch on your face. Well, have no fear because Karuna Chani of KC Makeup is here to talk to you through the products your face should not live without.
I've been a makeup and skincare specialist for about, I would say 1999, so we're hitting 14 years now. I actually started in the fashion world, but quickly realized that skincare and beauty was more my niche and something that I had a real, true passion for, love for. There are some basic, essential skincare products that I feel every woman should have, and specifically South Asian women. The first and foremost is a milk or cream cleanser. There's a lot of women out there who use foaming cleansers. Foaming action basically is something that strips you of your oils. I'm looking for something that's going to keep you hydrated. Indian women already have major skin problems that start from dark circles to blemishes, uneven skin tone. The milk and the cream cleansers keep your moisture, keep your face looking supple and hydrated. I have a great French product here called Guino. It's a facial cream and milk cleanser, which actually takes off your daily grime and your cosmetics both all in one. Not only does it actually remove the makeup, but it keeps your skin hydrated all day long. You don't get that flaky, dry, scaly, that chalky finish on your face. Also helps to apply your makeup very well.
And how much is that?
This runs somewhere approximately in the $25 to $35 range, depending on which website you're purchasing from or which skincare salon. You can actually purchase this online from, actually dermstore.com is one of the companies that actually sells the full Guino line, which is excellent. I always recommend having your skincare all from one company so that there's no chances of any breakouts or acne. When you normally go to a skincare counter or cosmetic counter, they will try to sell you not only the cleanser, but a toner and a moisturizer. The list goes on and on. It's really not necessary to have a toner. What's most important is actually the cleanser, and then right after, making sure that you moisturize your skin within that first 1-2 minutes, because that's when your pores are actually open and willing to really absorb that moisturizer. I, again, use a company called Guino, which is actually the Hydra Beauty moisturizer. It's for all skin types, dry, combination, oily. It has no silky residue or oily residue. It dries beautifully. One of my key products, which I cannot live without, and which I feel that every South Asian woman should not leave home without, is their eye cream. I have a company that I use personally and I'm absolutely in love with because it does the job. It's a company from Korea. It's actually called Atomi. It's a very simple eye cream. It does the 3 R's: rehydrate, replenish, and rejuvenate. You really don't want to have any kind of eye cream that has fragrances in it. It'll end up just making your eyes bloodshot, you might swell up, and you'll be itchy all day. Keep the eye cream really, really simple and make sure that you tap it on. No sliding, just tapping. It's almost like creating circulation in the eye area. This is actually excellent for women who have dark circles. It actually makes the dark circles actually look not only less, but hydrated and less dark, and those kind of gets rid of those little fine lines that the dryness causes. One of the other products that I feel is absolutely necessary, especially with the constant complaints that I get from my Asian clients, my dark circles, my blemishes, my uneven skin tone. Oh, where did these freckles come from? Oh, where did this redness come from? This is all sun damage. This is something you use morning and night, indoor, outdoor, driving, wherever you are. Busy moms, you don't know how much exposure you're getting when you're actually strolling your baby around the city or the park, wherever the sun is out. This is actually the miracle oil I have been waiting for years and years. I've got the same issue all my clients have. I've got the dry skin, and that's all year round. I've got the dark circles. I've got some blemishes from my acne days, and I've also got some blemishes that just have never gone away. This is bio oil, which you can get at any convenience store. You can get this at a vitamin shop, a health food store, and it costs maybe somewhere between $10 to $13 for the small bottle and maybe $15 to $18 for the larger bottle. You just add 2 or 3 drops into your moisturizer, and voila, your skin feels like silk. You can also do the oil alone at night, because that's the day of time that actually the body repairs itself while you're sleeping, and you won't feel, there won't be any grime on your pillow or anything as such, because it's a very light, absorbable oil. My beautiful, busy brown mommies, if you don't have time for all the steps that I just discussed, we have a miracle 3-in-1 product by Laura Mercier. It is your moisturizer, it's got a little bit of color, and best of all, it's got SPF 20, which covers your sun exposure and any kind of sun damage. This is your 3-in-1 to go in your handbag, in your travels, everywhere you go. It gives you that nice fresh look, hydrates your skin, evens out the skin tone, and protects you all in one. You could not ask for anything better than this product. I've been using this in the summer during the daytime while I work for the past 7 years, and they actually have come out with a whole new range of skin tones that actually work beautifully for Asian skin tones, which have a very nice beige and yellow undertone. I'll just say my busy moms, my busy brown moms. That's I call my girl brownies. It's actually become my tagline.
So you can start
my
with
beautiful brownies.
Hey Mom, did you miss the latest episodes of the Mommy Helper Show on Crossings TV? Or maybe you don't get the network yet. Have no fear, the Mommy Helper app is here. The Mommy Helper app is your therapy session on the go. Get latest episodes, get motivated every day, even find out where you can go to get pampered in your neighborhood. Download the Mommy Helper app and have it with you all the time. So you have the show, you have the app, make sure you like us on Facebook, and you'll always be in the know with the Mommy Helper Show. There are many times we look at our children who may be running around and jumping up and down and bouncing off of walls, and we think to ourselves, they're just hyper. Or is it something more? Could it be attention deficit disorder? I'm sitting here today with Lori Lombardi. She's a special education teacher in the state of New Jersey, a mother of 2 twins, and she also has a son who was diagnosed with ADD at a very young age. Lori, thank you for joining us. And the first question I have is, how do you decipher ADD from just a very hyper child? What should I look for as a parent?
Well, usually there are about 4 signs that you can look for. In a young child, usually these signs will show up before the age of 7, and they will be consistent across all avenues of life. You will see these behaviors at home, you will see them at school, you will see them at play. So they won't just appear when they're at home with you or just at school or just at play. One of these is that a lot of parents will say, my child seems to not hear me when I ask a question. I ask a question, I get no response, or they turn around and they'll say, what? What did you say? And this is kind of like an inattentive part of ADD. Never really seeming to hear what the parent is asking them to say, or the teacher is asking them to say, or even their playmates are asking them to say. They have also difficulty remembering things. You might tell them, I want you to go upstairs and brush your teeth, put your pajamas on, and come downstairs for a snack when you're done. And they'll go upstairs, maybe start brushing their teeth, but then they will lose track of the other two tasks that you've given them. And they might say to you, and you'll say, well, you know, you didn't put your pajamas on, you didn't come back downstairs. Oh, I forgot, I didn't remember. So simple things that you would expect to remember, that you remember, and notice other children are able to remember. A true ADD child would not. All right. They also, with the inattention, will have trouble focusing on a certain task for very long. They will also be very easily distracted. You can take a child to the circus, say for example, and you'll be seeing a fantastic show, and the child will be saying, oh, look at the man up there with the spotlight, or look at the man that's down there selling popcorn, and they'll be distracted by everything that's going on around them and not able to focus on the main point that's going on, the main show of the circus. Outside stimuli really gets their attention, whereas you'd be able to, as an adult, ignore something else. It will come to the front of an ADD child, and it will distract them to the point of distraction where they can't focus on what's going on, because becomes their focal point at that time. So that's the inattention piece. You talked about the hyperactivity, bouncing off the wall. And we certainly do have children that once they've had a lot of sugar to eat, or are really excited that grandma and grandpa are coming, or cousins are coming, and they're running around. But the hyperactivity that you would see with the ADD child will be more like fidgeting. You would see the leg constantly going, or hands constantly going, or even talking excessively and not being able to stop. And you'll say, okay, you've already answered my question, but they'll be going on and on and on. Sometimes with the hyperactivity, they'll have a very quick temper. They lose their temper very easily. They will have a short fuse, where someone else could play for a long period of time. If they're not getting along with the child, they could have a temper tantrum, or their temper could flare. Their fuse could go off like within a couple of minutes. And we kind of call that frustration tolerance. They have a very low frustration tolerance when something isn't going their way. So that would be our hyperactivity. So we talked about inattention, talked about hyperactivity. There's also the impulsivity, impulsive child, who will constantly interrupt you when you're talking on the phone to another person, will just blurt out or pop out whatever's on their mind at whatever time, will say things that are inappropriate at a certain time, or in the wrong place, or not correct to say at that time in the situation they're in.
But isn't that just being a child, being innocent?
Some. When these things really stand out all together, when you see the inattention, when you see the hyperactivity, when you see the impulsivity, and you see that the child isn't listening, and all these things fall into place, and you'll see his frustration tolerance, that he gets really frustrated with all these, and you'll notice that you're getting frustrated with all of these, and it's starting to really make an impact on the home environment, and the school environment, and the play environment for the child. I think sometimes as a parent you kind of know instinctively, there's something that's a little bit that I need to investigate here, that I need to question further with my child.
It's that gut instinct that tells you something's off.
Yes, just a little bit.
But you know, you talked about frustration on for the parents' part. If your child is diagnosed with ADD by a professional, what would you say a mother's to do to keep herself in check and not lose her fuse and lose her frustration?
First and foremost, if the child is diagnosed by their pediatrician or a neurological pediatrician, or psychologists, or personnel that are at their school, if they have suspect the child needs to have further help with ADD, the first thing the parent needs to realize is that these behaviors are not intentional. They're not directed at you. I'm not purposely not listening to you or following your commands. I'm not purposely trying to have a temper or a short fuse. I'm not trying to sit here and jiggle the couch and make everyone uncomfortable. I'm not trying to spill something at the dinner table. All this,
don't take it personally.
No, it is not personal. And that's hard to do, because we do want our children to be able to listen to what we have to do and to be able to carry out a task or do things responsibly. So when the child is diagnosed with ADD, then as a mother and as a parent, you need to really kind of embrace that and change your home environment that's going to make the child be successful, that he's not going to be frustrated, that he's not going to be able to work with other children or in school or have frustrations or get bored easily.
Change what in the house?
So one thing that I found that ADD children really need is they need a lot of structure.
Okay.
They do not do well with surprise. They like routine. They like to know what's coming next.
Okay.
They do not transition easily, what I call from one activity to another.
Right.
They need to be prepared. They need to know what's going to happen, and they need to know consistently. If there's certain expectations at bedtime, they need to know those expectations, and the same expectations need to be met every day.
So same time, same structure, same brush your teeth, change your clothes, come downstairs and say goodnight.
Until they get those patterns down, until they become part of them. Then you can add certain behaviors that you want to see your child have. One thing I found also is that modeling organization, modeling what the child needs to have done in your home is something that he'll pick up on also.
Okay.
Be able to organize themselves, able to organize their clothes, their schoolwork, even their toys, is hard for an ADD child. So the parent needs to help with that and make sure that the child is successful as he's going through life.
We'll continue our conversation with Lori next week when she gives us information on how technology like iPads can add to your child's ADD. Also, are you or your spouse a little ADD? Find out next week when Lori talks about how to recognize symptoms of ADD in adults. Networking just got a little bit more intoxicating. Lady Drinks, a women's-only networking initiative, meets monthly in New York City. We caught up with the co-founder, Joya Dass, at a recent Lady Drinks pampering event where she talked about taking care of yourself while taking care of your business. Check this out.
The question is, what is Lady Drinks? I get this all the time.
I always meet somebody new. She said, you should come to Lady Drinks this week because it's all about mompreneurs.
I own a company called Moi.
I challenge current financial thinking.
I'm Joya. I'm one of the co-founders of Lady Drinks.
My name is Greta Knudsen, and I'm co-founder of Lady Drinks.
Lady Drinks is a monthly gathering of women who are either business-minded or have their own businesses, and we bring them together every month for networking purposes.
Lady Drinks was an idea that was born in about 2008 up in Toronto. The crash had just happened, and we were sitting around one night and talking about, what it's like to be a freelancer. I decided that we would do a monthly gathering, a get-together. More and more people kept coming, so we realized that we were onto something. Something was working if busy women were bothering to come to this event. When I moved to New York, I thought it would be a nice idea to be able to replicate that same model, the Lady Drinks, where women could meet and just chat. It struck me that there weren't very many informal networking events specifically for women. With that, Joya and I teamed up to start Lady Drinks New York.
Women empowerment is, I think, finally coming into its own, and I think it's time for it to have a fun element behind it too.
We met at Lady Drinks.
The hope is that you're going to come together to build relationships, because you need to in order to foster a meaningful one, build synergy, share ideas, and be able to hopefully build better practices. What's been wonderful is to hear stories of women such as a vintage clothing designer. She met up with a makeup artist and a hairstylist who had the same vision, got together and created a beautiful marketing campaign for her. Another great synergy is a woman who's an emerging artist. She was able to meet up with another Lady Drinks member to put up her artwork in her place of business. We want to be able to create a different event every single month. We did a panel discussion on sex, dating, and relationships.
I teach about food, sex, and orgasm. And what else do you need?
We did a workshop on power, the 9 tools that women can use to change the way they think about power. And one of our other panel discussions is about being a mom and being an entrepreneur and tips on achieving that mythical work-life balance.
So my business partner, Greta, had great success with starting Lady Drinks in Toronto because it was largely a film and TV community of women, and how they got jobs was by networking. So when she moved to New York and said, hey, Joya, let's partner up to do some of these documentary projects together, she was like, hey, I also would love to start Lady Drinks.
And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, I don't care. And not knowing or realizing that this was going to become the dark horse brand that was going to take off the way that it has. And what I've been told, I'm repeating back to you, is that because I've been on television for the last 15 years, there's a whole second generation of girl that has grown up, that is of the South Asian descent, that is much more self-actualized, far more self-empowered, and now comes because she wants to share that she too is doing something outside the box. So I feel like it's on the success of that my demographic skews very heavily South Asian, although it's not exclusive to it, and why Lady Drinks has become as big as it has today. It is absolutely 100% okay to be pampered, and here's why. We play so many roles in other people's lives, and if we don't show up 100%, if we're not filling our own tank, it compromises how we show up for all those other roles in other people's lives. So really, who's it doing a disservice to? Those people that we serve anyway. So this is a very valuable nugget of wisdom that was taught to me in a women's empowerment class that I had taken 5 years ago, because I didn't have a blueprint as a South Asian woman on how to love myself and put myself first. Nobody ever told me that. And so it wasn't until I took this 12-week intensive, the most important piece of information I got out of that is that very piece that I just repeated to you now, is that how we show up for all the other roles in our lives is affected how we fill our own tanks, and we need to be capable of that.
I find time to pamper myself usually after the kids go to sleep, after 9 p.m. Time to myself. It also means just having time to do something that I haven't been able to do. It doesn't necessarily mean beauty, anything related to beauty. It just means like being able to take a nap during the day.
Pamper myself, I go to events like this and just entertain myself. I find time for girls' night out and things like that. I never feel guilty at this age because I have 2 teenage boys. If I had boys like 4 and 5, maybe I would have felt guilty, but not at this age.
I feel guilty sometimes when I take time out for myself because I feel like I'm taking it away from my children. I do believe I'm actually on the board for Ladies Drink because I believe in the whole women empowerment and the whole thing that Joya has started. But at the same time, it's so necessary to take care of yourself because you are so busy working in life, busy with the kids, husband, family, and you always have to take time out for yourself. I feel very strongly about it. I never do it, but I feel strongly about it. I hope so. Every week massages and facials and Reiki treatments and all that.